Today we're going to be reacting to Daniel Jeremiah's first mock draft 1.0 for the 2026 NFL Draft. And we're just going to go over each pick, tell our opinion on it, how it fits into the team, and all that sort of stuff. So let's get right into it. For the first pick in the draft, it's obviously Las Vegas Raiders. Daniel Jeremiah obviously has Fernando Mendoza here, pretty much locked in with the Raiders is the consensus. He says Mendoza clearly distanced himself from the rest of the field at quarterback this past season, culminating in Indiana's first ever natty. With 39 touchdowns and no interceptions in the red zone since 2024, the Heisman Trophy winner offers a rare kind of production the Raiders can't pass. I think this is a pretty consensus take right now, and his production has been very good. There's no doubt about that. Definitely one of the more lackluster stat lines for Heisman's, but 39 touchdowns to no interceptions in the red zone since 2024 is elite. That's insane.
Yeah, I mean, most quarterback stat lines are going to be one or less picks in the red zone, though.
Unless you're
and
Geno
a lot
Smith.
of touchdowns. Oh, yeah, his were terrible this year.
But I think that, I've gotten a lot of hate when I talk about Fernando Mendoza, so maybe I shouldn't talk too much about Fernando Mendoza, but obviously a good quarterback prospect. Definitely interesting to see him going at 1, because I think most years he definitely wouldn't, but a lot of people seem to think that he would go 1 most years, which is kind of weird. Like, they think he is just a set number 1 overall pick. But he's almost every single person's number 1 quarterback on their board, consensus guy. Everyone thinks he's going to the Raiders. Clint Kubiak is going to be a really good coach for him to pair up with. I'm excited to see that for him. Best situation you can be asked to be put in is with Brock Bowers, Ashton Genty, and Clint Kubiak. I mean, not going to get much better than that at the number 1 overall pick. And I honestly think this is a good spot for Mendoza outside of the offensive line, which I think we should talk about for a little bit.
They need to get that addressed
because
immediately.
Mendoza's played with the best offensive line in college football, and it's already a big enough adjustment going to the NFL. I think that, in my opinion, is almost arguably the biggest adjustment for a quarterback. Is you now have elite defensive linemen rushing you every single game. Like, in college, you rarely get an elite pass rusher on the other side, and if you do, it's one guy. And in the NFL, you're playing like 5 guys that are better than that one guy you'd usually play, right? Every single snap, not to mention blitzes. The interior guys are like 350 pounds sometimes. Like, it can be insanity. And you have like half the amount of time. He's going to have half the amount of time that he had this season, basically, to throw the football. And that's a huge adjustment already with these faster corners, faster safeties. Like, it's just going to be a very tough adjustment, I think, going to such a bad line, because it was 32nd ranked in the league last season.
You bring that up, like, everyone's more athletic at the next level, but like a lot of times I talk about Mendoza's rushing ability isn't really there. A lot of it, he's like a dog, he'll put his body on the line, like in the national championship, he like flipped over a defender or whatever. Like, that's cool, but like when all the edge rushers and DTs are 300 pounds and faster than you, he's not fast enough for the rushing ability to translate too much, in my opinion. I do think the Jared Goff comp is a bit overused and a bit lazy, because he's better under pressure, but right now, obviously, not as polished, like not as accurate, not as smart. But I just think they're quite different players. But he's similar in a sense of, if the infrastructure around him is really good, I think he could be a good quarterback. But I don't know if it's someone you take at 1, but that's who Daniel Jeremiah has going here.
And I mean, that's who I would predict going 1.
Yeah,
but
it's probably like, minus 5,000 at this point?
Right. It's probably less than that. Like, it's very obvious they're going to take him. It's just interesting because I think no matter how much you like Fernando Mendoza, this is a tough situation to translate into, like we've been saying. Like, literally, you could think this is the best quarterback prospect in the last decade, and you shouldn't think that, but if you did, then I still think there's a good chance that you should think he's not going to succeed because of the situation he's being put into, if that makes sense.
I mean, it's not a bad situation.
He's got, like I said, he's got weapons and a good coach, but his, like, the hardest transition for him, especially as becoming from such a good O-line, is going to be that O-line.
Yeah.
And it's the weakest it can be. It's 32nd in the NFL. So, and their only good O-lineman, Colton Miller's obviously still good, but their only other good O-lineman or okay O-lineman they hate and want to get rid of. So
I don't know. With the new change in coaching staff, and I believe GM as well, I think Jackson Powers Johnson will be a lot better. And I assume that they will value him.
Well, we'll see, but I just think it's going to be a really tough transition for him. And I definitely don't think we're going to see success right away for Mendoza.
Yeah, and I don't think that should be your expectation for any rookie quarterback.
But in today's world, it really is, because not only
you should have 2 years.
I mean, there are quarterbacks that we're seeing more and more. There are quarterbacks that can translate right away, right? Like Nix came in and he had only 3 bad games before he looked good. Daniels looked good. May it only took a season.
May had like a really bad supporting cast. You could tell he was going to be pretty good.
But then the next season he was good, right? And Shuck looked good right away with a terrible supporting cast. Like
Jackson Dart too.
Like all these guys, they come in, and the more and more like training evolves, and like college is like turning into like a mini professional sport now with pay and trainers and all these things. Like these guys are more prepared to come into the league, and so with social media and all, that's a whole other topic, obviously. But it's just people are so expected to be successful right away, or they kind of get thrown out of town. And I think it's going to be multiple seasons before Mendoza even looks or shows really any signs because of the situation.
If you don't show signs by like year 3, you're basically cooked in today's NFL.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. I don't even know if he'll get this chance to start in year 3.
I don't know.
And that could be a big problem for him.
I think he's got a pretty solid floor.
So we'll see. But obviously that was going to be the number 1 pick for the Raiders. If you've made it to this point in the video, then you should like, subscribe, and go hype the video. We just unlocked it, and it really helps us out, so we'd really appreciate it. Back to the video, guys. Number 2 to the New York Jets, we got Arvell Reese from Daniel Jeremiah. He says the Jets have needs all over their defense, which I definitely agree with. Reese is versatile and athletic, and I think he'll benefit from working off the edge full-time after also playing off-ball linebacker during his Buckeyes career. I think this is an interesting discussion to have because I know you've talked about this with me a lot, how you don't see any reason to take a hybrid or an inside linebacker or anyone who drops into coverage a lot at number 2.
Well, it's just if you're good enough at edge, dropping into coverage would be like a surprise factor, not necessarily something you're doing for a bunch of the game, right? Like Jalen Walker, he's similar to Jalen Walker in the sense of his whole college career, Arvell Reese played linebacker. This past season, he was more of a hybrid, but I still think he played more linebacker. And obviously, I don't even think he was the best linebacker on his own team, and I don't think that's a hot take at all. Most of the reason he's going at 2 is because people think he's going to be an elite edge, and it's so much of a projection. Taking him at 2, in my opinion, is absolutely insane.
Yeah, I don't know. It's because like you have to think he's an elite edge, like you're saying, to take him to. I don't think that a hybrid is a bad thing. Like for example, Benito, he's not a hybrid, but we do drop into coverage a lot.
I think
but that's because of our scheme, right? Like Cooper also drops into coverage quite a bit. Von Miller used to drop into coverage quite a bit, which would have been really weird for any other elite pass rusher. But we play very heavy 3-4 scheme, and that's a lot less common in today's league, I think, where people drop that much. They have the outside linebackers drop, but it works really well for our defense. We have an elite defense for a reason, right? And I think that for certain teams, it is really valuable to have a guy like that. Like Benito fits our team really well. That's why he's able to succeed in the way he is that he really just fits the scheme. But there's only a few teams that are like that. And so taking that type of player at 2 makes no sense because most teams aren't looking to take a guy like that. Like if anyone else who's trying to take Arvell Reese, I'd argue in the entire top 10 is not trying to make him a hybrid. They're trying to make him full-time edge, right? They don't care about the hybrid look. And so if he went, say we're really bad and we were picking at like 2 or 3, I think he'd be really valuable for us. I don't know if it's still worth it at that point, but like he'd be a lot more valuable, and I just don't see that same value for a team like the Jets here.
Yeah, it's also interesting. They have so many needs, and I think edge, they have 2 starters at edge, in my opinion. What is his name? Jermaine Johnson and then Will McDonald. Both very similar skill sets, but they're both good edge rushers. I think they should add in other places. Or even like Ruben Bain, obviously. Also an edge, but I think he's a better player.
Or even David Bailey. Like I think it's so weird that they're taking Reese above those guys.
Reese is the favorite, though.
Well, because also like you look at what Daniel Jeremiah says. He says he thinks, they've got needs, but they could use an edge, and he will work better if he works full-time edge. Well, I would argue edge might be their best position on the defensive side of the football right now. Their defense is horrific. I mean, it is so bad.
It probably is.
That's how bad their defense is. So why would you go to attack your best position on the defensive side of the ball? And if you are, why are you taking arguably the 3rd best available at number 2 at his own position?
No, I mean, I just think he's like a jack of all trades, master of none right now. And I like, he can play coverage, he can play edge, but he's really that good at either?
He's obviously got a high ceiling, and you're banking on the upside, but is that a pick you take at 2?
No, but I think like Keldrick Falk is being picked. I think I'd rather have Arvell Reese than Keldrick Falk, obviously, as most people would. So for like an upside guy, I think he might be the best one, but at 2 is insane.
But that's not saying much, so.
Yeah.
No, I agree, and it's just a weird pick to me. So.
Yeah.
But at number 3, we have a little bit different of a situation with the Arizona Cardinals. Team I expected to be a bit better this season, as we've talked about in the past. We just did a rebuild of them too, so if you haven't seen that, make sure you go check it out. But Jeremiah says the big question is who will be playing quarterback for the Cardinals in 2026. Well, there's no clear quarterback answer for them at this point in the draft. They make a selection that will benefit whoever ends up under center, and Spencer Fanu has the versatility to play 4 different spots on the O-line, everything but center, if needed. And I think that this is not a bad pick by any means. The Cardinals need another tackle on the other side of Paris Johnson, and no matter who plays quarterback, just like Jeremiah says here. And I think that the versatility that he brings to the O-line, like he's also saying, like the fact that he can move around if needed. Maybe they find a different tackle they really like, or whatever. Maybe they do end up finding a guard and they can keep him at tackle. But either way, he adds a big piece to the O-line. And at this spot, I think it's so unclear what the Cardinals would want to do here. 3 is just kind of an awkward spot to be picking. So you go ahead, you take a tackle you think is going to be great. You could obviously look at Maui Noah here, but because I know you really like Maui Noah, so I'll show you talk about that in just a sec. But this isn't a bad pick by any means, and it's a safe pick in my opinion. Go for an elite, or what you're hoping is an elite franchise tackle, because you win in the trenches. And so if you can start building up that O-line, it leads to having your quarterback have more possible success.
Yeah, I think the Cardinals' number one need right now is probably right tackle. It's also super hard to address tackle in free agency, so this is a pretty good pick. I obviously like Maui Noah better, and both can play all the positions on the offensive line besides center. But, I mean, the thing with these guys is I don't think they don't bust that often just because they can play. If they bust at tackle, a lot of times they can play guard if they can't play tackle for whatever reason. But obviously, 3 and 2 is also just weird spots to be at, especially with there being no quarterbacks. No one's going to want to trade up at this point. I think the next few picks are all about getting the value that falls, and picks like 2 through like 8 are all around the same level. So it's kind of a rough spot to be in for them. But I don't hate Fano. I just think at 3, a bit high. But
yeah, no, I think that's very fair evaluation, but there's only so much you can do at 3, and no one's going to be trading up at this spot.
I'd assume.
Number 4 to the Tennessee Titans, we do have Maui Noah. And Jeremiah says this offseason is about helping Cam Ward take that next step, and that starts with doing a better job protecting it. Maui Noah has excellent size, strength, and still has room to develop. Like you were saying, this is your favorite tackle in the class, and I think that after bringing in Dable, which I love that signing as an OC.
Amazing.
Him and Mike McDaniel and then Clint Kubiak are my 3 any coaching staff signings of this offseason by far. I think they're going to be amazing for their teams. And we kind of see Dable might not be the best fit for a head coach, but we know he's an offensive guy. He's an offensive mastermind. I mean, he's a big reason Josh Allen developed into who he is. And so I really do think that could work. I mean, Cam Ward obviously has talent. He makes ridiculous throws. A lot of it's his decision-making, I think, and how much he gets hit. He just holds onto the ball too long and stuff. In a big way, you can help him learn not to do that is by giving him more time. And so I think that bringing in a tackle to help develop that guy, you still have faith in your number 1 overall pick. Obviously, he showed some signs in his first season. You get him a tackle to help protect him, hopefully that franchise guy, just like we were talking about with the Cardinals. And then guess what? You got Cam Ward behind a safer O-line, and you can hopefully start developing him and teaching him how to be a great quarterback in just a couple of seasons.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to sound like a hater, but I'm not a huge fan of what's going on right now. You got Latham at left tackle, I believe, and then at right tackle, Dan Moore, who just signed $80 million contract last offseason. So is Maui Noah taking guard at 4? Like, I don't know. I think Cam Ward, his number 1 thing he needs is a better receiver. His wide receiver, 1 was Chimere Dike for half the season. And Ayu Maynor, and then obviously Calvin Ridley was hurt a lot of this season and also isn't that good. So I think a receiver's a much bigger need, as well as their new head coach, and he's a defensive mind. I think he'd want a defensive player in the first round of his first draft.
I disagree, actually. I don't think their defense is anywhere near as big of a need.
No, they need an edge bad.
Well, yeah, but I think that I guess with how his board's fallen, you could take the best edge in our opinion.
David Bailey or
Bain.
Yeah, either one.
And so I think that's completely fine. But also, I don't hate the tackle pick as long as you're keeping him at tackle. If you move Moore inside or something,
Moore can't play guard.
Right. Well, but I don't know. Maybe just cut him.
Well, it was just a dumb signing.
Right.
I obviously, it shouldn't stop you if you love Maui Noah. I just think, I don't know. I think it would make more sense for them to take a defensive player or a receiver.
I do think receiver makes more sense, but I actually prefer Maui Noah over a defensive player here. for them, just because their defense was pretty solid last season. Like you said, they do need edge,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm a lot more like your biggest priority, like Daniel Jeremiah said, is
Helping
like
Cam Ward.
you've got to help Cam Ward because you took him one, you believe in him, you bring in guys that you know can develop him. This is where he needs to start showing signs, and you're not giving him any opportunity to do that yet. You have a bad offensive line, the worst receiving core in the NFL, and a subpar run game. He can only do so much. You know what I'm saying? So I do agree that wide receiver should be more of a priority, but maybe they address that in the offseason. I'm not sure. And I think bringing in who, if you believe he's the best tackle in the draft, if you get a franchise tackle at 4, you're never upset about that.
Yeah, maybe the plan will be he plays right guard, and then when you cut down more next offseason, he plays right tackle.
I'm not sure.
I don't know what the plan is. I just think it's kind of weird to take that at 4. But
it is a weird situation, but like I said, if you believe he's going to be a franchise tackle, and if that's the case, you're never mad at that at 4, no matter what the situation is, because franchise tackles are extremely valuable in the league, and they help develop a young guy like Cam Ward. So,
yep.
Moving on to number 5, though, New York Giants. They were in contention for the number 1 pick for a couple weeks. I remember the Tank Bowl with the Raiders, Toilet Bowl or whatever.
They did not care about
and all of a sudden, they go drop down to 5. So that sucks for them. But they're going to be taking corner. They're going to be taking Mansour Delane here. And the Giants could add a receiver in later in the draft is what Daniel Jeremiah says. But it's a deep class at the position, and he would rather have Delane because he would immediately be their most talented corner.
It's not even close. Their corners suck. Their best corner right now might be Cordell Flott.
I expected so much more out of his defense this season. Maybe that was more of a coaching issue. I'm not sure. Right now, it doesn't look like the coaching is going to get any better, maybe worse with Matt Nagy being brought in today. But that's obviously not on the defensive side of the ball. But, I mean, their corners just were so disappointing. Obviously, Banks has been disappointing for multiple seasons. Paulson Adebo disappointed me because I thought that was a pretty good signing. Then you have Phillips, who was pretty disappointing as well in his second season. But I think that I don't know. It's just overall a disappointing group of guys, and it's clearly a weakness on that defensive side of the ball. And you've got pieces there, man. I mean, you've got Sexy Dex. Your edge room is insanely good, and Abdul Carter's developing, hopefully. You've got Okereke still. You've got, your safeties could be better, but they're still developing. And so, Holland was obviously a great signing. And so you've got like a bunch of pieces here, but there's only so much you can do when your corners are playing this bad. If Cordell Flott is arguably your best corner, you're not in a good spot.
Yeah.
So I think attacking corner here at 5 is actually a great decision. They've got who they think is the future at quarterback. Their offensive line looked way better than when Russ was in there. I mean, it's still not great, but better than when Russ was in there. And 2 tackles just went off the board, so it's going to be pretty hard to find a guy worth it here at 5. And, you've got a pretty decent receiving core with Malik Neighbors specifically, and Wan'Dale Robinson is your 2. So
I think Wan'Dale's gone.
Oh, I forgot he's a free agent. But still, like, it makes most sense to me. I think this is the best pick that Daniel Jeremiah has mocked so far because I think it makes the most sense.
Yeah, I think it's the best one, but also I think Jermod McCoy is a better corner.
I love Jermod
McCoy. I think Delane, it's not bad value. I think, this is my favorite pick so far.
I haven't watched Delane, but I do love McCoy. And if you took McCoy here, I'd be glazing this pick because whoever he has McCoy going to, I will be very happy with that because McCoy is so good at football. But we will see. Moving on to number 6, we got David Bailey finally going off the board to the Browns. We'll have to talk about this because I'm actually not a huge fan of this pick at all. But Cleveland should take the best player available here, is what he says. A receiver could also be in play, but Bailey has the best get-off of any pass rusher in the draft. Alex Wright is a solid edge who signed a contract extension in November, but Bailey is a different caliber of player, and Myles Garrett would love having some talented running mates up front. I don't like this. I don't know what your opinion is on this. This is the most obvious take a receiver here, in my opinion. And you could also argue you could take a tackle here, but
they're both gone.
They're gone. So you don't argue. You just take whoever of the 3 receivers you like the best. And obviously,
you have your pick. Pick the litter right now.
And people obviously debate that. Yeah, I know you're a huge Mekhi Lemon guy, which I'm sure we'll touch on in a little bit when he gets picked. But like you said, you're picking the litter. Pick a receiver. Why are you taking edge? That's your best position. You've got the decoy, the guy who just got the most sacks in NFL history. And you're going to take another one of those positions? I know you play too, but really?
Well, they just paid Alex Wright 3 years, $40 million. So
It doesn't make any sense.
Also, what's that other dude's name? Maguire.
Maguire, yeah.
He's also a pretty solid young player, so he's like a very good third edge rusher.
I also just don't think it makes sense for them to attack defense in this spot at all. You are so bad on the offense side of the ball, and you had arguably a top 5 defense this last season. Why would you go back to defense?
I think if
Build
they took
some offense.
Caleb Downs, just best player available, it's like the only way I could see
Well,
it.
he says Cleveland should take best player available here, and then he doesn't take the best player available.
Well, it's probably his best player available.
No way he thinks David Bailey's better than Caleb Downs.
Well, best player position, edge rusher is a lot more valuable.
I don't care. It's like, I don't even think David Bailey's the best edge rusher left on the board. I'm a big Ruben Bain guy myself.
A lot of people don't believe it.
So I don't know. I think this is the worst pick so far, and I don't think it's relatively close. I think that this just doesn't make any sense to me.
Bro, we're just hating on this.
Yeah, well, I don't love this mock draft, man. Maybe, let us know down in the comments. Maybe they really like this mock draft, and we're going to get a ton of hate comments. I don't know. But I don't love this. I don't think the fits make sense. I don't see almost any of this happening because I just don't think the fits make sense for what the teams want to do. Because we were talking about this before, how you want to take the best player available in the first round because you want talents up here. You want generational guys up here if you can get them. But you also got to take a player that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're in such a bad spot. You got, like, most of the time the reason you could take best player available at 1 through 5 especially is because most of the time it fits a position of need because you got so many needs. But in this situation, somehow they're all taking the only needs that they don't have or that aren't as much of a priority.
Delane and Mendoza.
Right. So he's 2 for 6 on needs.
Oh, and Cardinals as well. Taking a tackle.
I mean, yeah, I get, but like still not as high of a priority, maybe. Or, well, I guess I think. I guess it is a higher priority, but not the best tackle available, probably. So then it's still like you still messed up. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't know. I don't love it so far, but maybe it'll get better. Maybe it'll get better. Moving on to 7 at the Commanders, Sonny Styles. The Commanders. I bet you'll like this.
Starting to catch on.
McKay loves Sonny Styles. We'll talk about in a sec. He says Styles reminds him of Fred Warner, another of McKay's favorites, who was drafted by the 49ers when current Commanders GM Adam Peters was an executive in the San Francisco front office. So a little connection there. But keep in mind that Bobby Wagner is also 35 and heading for free agency.
No way they re-sign him. They need to get younger. So
I actually would love if they re-signed him and then also drafted him. Because then
learn
you could
under him?
Yeah, that'd be Bobby Wagner's
plays a lot
incredible.
differently. I mean, he was a safety his whole college career until this year.
But it's still like you can learn a lot from a guy that played that position at that level.
Yeah, I mean, I think Sonny Styles is a very good chance to be like a top 3 linebacker in the NFL.
Wow.
And like at 7, this is a little early for a linebacker, but it's not like you're taking, Arvell Reese at 2 or anything.
Right.
But I think this is like the first pick. Yeah, this is the earliest he can go. Is right here at 7. But yeah, he's super athletic. He's like the modern linebacker. He can tackle. He can cover. He was athletic enough to play safety and then moves to linebacker and misses 1 tackle all season. It's insane. And he's like 6'4", good size there, good length.
I mean, he's exactly what you want if you're going to take a linebacker in the top 10, right? And I think that it's also a pretty good fit because the Commanders' whole defense sucks, but, I mean, it's terrible. So any young piece you can get in there that you think could be a generational guy at his position. I also wouldn't hate Caleb Downs
Yeah, that's who I would probably take here, honestly.
But I don't think Sonny Styles is a bad second choice.
Yeah, definitely the best pick so far. All right.
No, I would still say Delane probably, but it's up there. Moving on to I think this is going to be my hot take of the whole mock draft because I actually don't love this pick, but we have Jeremiah Love going at 8 to the Saints. So all he says is, I love, no pun intended, the idea of pairing Tyler Shuck with the most electric playmaker in the draft. And that's the whole analysis. Okay,
Holy glaze with Tyler Shuck.
Right, that's what I was about to say. Like, I know that Tyler Shuck looked good in his first few games. It was his first few. You hear the word few in there. He didn't play that much. He didn't necessarily look incredible. He just looked good for a rookie.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely did enough to protect his job for this year.
Right, but I'm not confident he's a franchise guy yet.
Yeah, but also, I think here you either got to go, receiver? Who's their wide receiver 2 right now? Vele? Like, so you either got to go a wide receiver here or Jeremiah Love. I mean, that defense is pretty okay.
I'd rather take a defender.
And their line's actually pretty
in
good.
this draft, Ruben Bain is on the board.
Yeah, but also Jeremiah Love, he's like, what, the best running back prospect since Saquon Barkley?
Whoa, I don't know about that.
Better prospect than Gentry. Like, they're very
Are you
close.
sure?
Well, I just prefer his skill set as a more, like, explosive guy.
I am, like, the Jeremiah Love guy in the sense of I love myself some Jeremiah Love. I don't think Eight's too early. If Price wasn't there, he would have had a ridiculous season. I don't think Eight's too early either. That's not what I'm saying. I think if you're in the Saints position, it does not make sense to take a running back. You are not going to be competing for the next 4 years minimum.
Well, if Shuck's as good as they want him to be,
this defense still has a lot of holes. I mean, yes, I think that you've got Granderson, who's obviously good, and you got Chase Young actually showed some flashes.
Had a good year this year.
So, I mean, you could have that there, and I understand not wanting to replace those guys, but like even inside linebacker Demario Davis is freaking old, and he's not even good anymore. Their interior.
You don't like Brian Brzee?
Is Brian Brzee playing?
Yeah. Yeah, that's not good.
That's not good. Their corners, I mean,
Alontae
Taylor's. Oh, he's up.
He's a free agent.
I mean, he's okay, but like, even if you don't, especially if you don't re-sign him, safeties I don't like. Justin Reed was playing. I don't love that.
Why?
He's not very good, especially for the price they signed him.
He's perfectly fine to play.
Not for the price they signed him.
And they have Sanker, who's going to be a really good safety.
Obviously.
I think they add a nose tackle, add a linebacker.
Nose tackle.
And a corner.
Linebacker,
maybe
corner.
keep Alontae Taylor.
And I think that they should find a way to get out of Reed's contract. It's dumb. He
got rid of him and get Brian Cook?
I think he got paid close. I think he got paid close to Hufanga in Holland.
Yeah, he definitely did.
So for that price, yeah, I don't want him playing.
I think they've also brought back Julian Blackmon. So I don't think they're too worried about safety.
Well, maybe not, but like their secondary is still going to suck until they get corner. I mean, Kool-Aid McKinstry has not been that great.
He's not a CV1 for sure.
Right. So,
but I think taking the best player here, like I take Caleb Downs here, obviously.
Yeah, and Caleb Downs is on the board.
At slot, I guess. But
I'd play him over Reed.
Well, I'd just play him at slot.
I don't know. I love Jeremiah Love, but I just don't think this team's anywhere near competing, and I don't think it makes. I'm a big believer that you don't take a running back from the top 10 unless you're actually like gonna start winning games soon. And I don't know if the Saints team is. Like you've got a lot of solid players, but no one that's gonna develop into stars that you need them to. If that makes
Jeremiah
sense.
Love.
At a position that's super valuable.
Tackles, both tackles.
Yeah, well, I mean, their offensive line
especially
solid,
Banks. But
they're not even considering a tackle here because they're gone. So
no, I'm saying both their tackles could be stars.
No, I know. I'm saying, but like it doesn't matter because like we're not considering that here. You know what I'm saying? So like it doesn't like tackles
like
their only
other
position.
option that I think makes sense is taking Downs or a receiver.
I think I'd be okay with a corner here. I'd be completely okay with McCoy.
Yeah,
I think that's a better pick than Jeremiah Love here.
I still think Jeremiah Love's a good pick, especially in this mock draft.
Yeah, I mean, for this mock draft,
I think it's going to get better.
We'll see.
Like
I mean,
here,
I love the number 9 pick.
Yeah, I love this pick.
I hate it as a Broncos fan. Love it for the Chiefs here at 9. It's Ruben Bain. He says, Bain is my favorite fit for the Chiefs. Andy Reid has always had an appreciation for players with a junkyard dog mentality. It's a weird way to say that. Like Bain possesses, having coached Trent Cole and Brandon Graham in Philly. I love Bain, man.
Mm-hmm.
He is so good. I know we want to talk about his short arms or whatever. I'm done with this stupid short arm thing. Might as well stop measuring the arms at the combine, especially for tackles. I mean, McKay showed me something. I think we talked about this in our last video. But like every tackle that's had like below average arms that went in the first round or something, besides one, has been really good, and it was Will Campbell.
Who still has a chance to be good, like
at least at guard, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's insane to me that like we're still. I know that's a different position, but it's insane to me that we're like putting so much thought into that. Like
his arms are just so short. Like they're 2 inches shorter than Hutchins.
It doesn't matter who he matches up against, though. He just destroys them. I mean, Carter Smith, for example. I know he's only a third-round prospect.
He's going back to school, but yeah.
Oh, he did? But he allowed 6 pressures all season until he played Ruben Bain, where I'm pretty sure he allowed more than that.
No, he didn't.
It felt like it. It felt like he got beat every play. And Carter Smith's a big boy. But Ruben Bain was still able to use his short arms and get through.
I'm pretty sure Carter Smith also has short arms.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's funny. But that's just one example. I mean, he in the playoffs, he was in the backfield every single play.
Yeah.
On run plays, on pass plays. Like not only is he, in my opinion, the best pass rusher in this class, he makes so many plays against the run. He's gets important TFLs. He's always playing, like he said, a junkyard dog mentality or whatever. I wouldn't use those words exactly, but he does have that. I mean, he's playing to the whistle every single play. And one of my biggest problems I have with other edges, like just around the league, like Benito kind of does this sometimes. It makes me really mad. Is if they lose on their first move, they kind of just end the play there. Well, and I guess you don't really see Ruben Bain lose on his first move very often, but he just keeps going. He fights. He fights through. And I think that's why a lot of edge rushers struggle against the run, is that when they lose on their first move, they give up. And against the run, like you don't even need to win against your first move to contribute against the run. Like, you just need to push the line back. You just need to get in there and help tackle. And that's what Ruben Bain does. He's just a gritty player who's amazing at everything that he tries to do. And I think him falling to 9 is crazy. He should not fall to 9. I hope that I really hope he doesn't, because if the Chiefs get him at a positional need too, like a big positional need at edge, I'm going to be so pissed.
What do you think would be more scary, Ruben Bain or Love?
I don't know. That's like their two biggest needs.
Those like their two most likely picks. Well, actually, that's not true. But Love is their most likely
Well, it's
pick.
pissing me off because, of course, they're going to get one of those two guys because they just so happen to be in the perfect spot. But, I mean, obviously, from a explosive standpoint, it's Love because he can just win any game by having 170 yards or something, you know. But as a value piece, I think Ruben Bain, obviously, he's way more valuable position. So I don't want them to get either. They're both amazing. So hopefully this doesn't actually happen.
Yeah.
All right, number 10 to the Bengals. We got one of my favorite players in the class, Jermod McCoy. I'm interested to hear what your opinion is on this pick.
I mean, he's got a lot of upside. What did he play, 1 or 2 seasons? He had such an elite season last year that he tore his ACL at the beginning of this year and is still
A first-round pick.
Yeah.
Reminds me
insane.
of Micah.
Oh.
Not with the ACL, but he didn't play his last season because
Neither
of
did
COVID,
Jamar
I
or
think.
anything. A bunch of them didn't.
Right. I guess that makes sense. But Micah was still he kind of did fall a little bit actually, but I mean he was a top 13 pick as a linebacker, which is pretty crazy. He was expected to play a lot of linebacker. So, I don't know. He was very good. I feel like when I'm watching games, I like to do this thing I started last season where I write down if I notice a player and then I can go back to them later and be like, "Oh, did I who is this guy? Is he supposed to be okay?" And then "Oh, well, I did notice him. That must mean he did something to make me think he stood out." And I think that Jermod McCoy was on my list last season when he was actually playing before he got hurt. But do you know how hard that is to do as a corner? And if I remember correctly, he didn't even get a pick in that game. I wrote it down because of his ability in the run game, his tackling, and then they had 2 or 3 go balls that he just played perfect coverage and knocked the ball down. I mean, textbook stuff from McCoy. He's just exactly what you want at corner, in my opinion.
He's long. He's athletic. I think he's 6'2".
He can play the run. He can play the pass. He can do anything you want. He's just a perfect.
Yeah, Delane's a little bit limited by his athleticism, but I think from what I've heard, he's more technical.
Well, he's played this season. So
Yeah,
that probably helps.
I just think McCoy makes more sense because he's a lot more upside.
And the fact that it's close when McCoy only played in his sophomore season is very impressive, especially for a corner, which you're supposed to get a lot better the older you get. First few seasons in the NFL, it's one of the positions that's harder to translate right away, right? And so a lot of corners aren't great until their second or third season. A lot of the time third, because it takes that while. And he was already so good in his sophomore. So I think he's a super interesting prospect. And I love him going to the Bengals, who I know people are really high on the how am I blanking on his name right now?
DJ Turner?
DJ Turner, yes, sorry.
He's really good.
I know people are very high on him because he's athletic and makes play. But they do need a true number 1, in my opinion.
DJ Turner?
Above DJ Turner. And I think Jermod McCoy can step in there and be that. And DJ Turner can be the big play, flashy kind of guy who
DJ Turner
plays at their number 2.
Didn't get beat this year at all. He's not a big play,
watched
flashy
multiple
guy.
plays that I saw him get beat, and I only watched a couple
game?
Bengals games. I know he got beat. Was it the Packers game or was it the game before that?
It's not the Packers game.
Was he good in the Packers game?
Really good.
Oh, that's right.
I don't know. He
It
was
was
really
one of
good
the
this
games,
year.
first 5 games of the season, he got just destroyed. And I was laughing so hard because he was your breakout player. But I don't remember. I know people really like him.
Breakout.
I don't remember. I know people really like him, but I think Jermod McCoy can be one of the best corners in the NFL one day. He's got that upside. So I think this is a great pick. This is probably my favorite pick. Oh, no. He's kind of nailed it recently in these last few picks. So this is another great pick from Daniel Jeremiah. And I think number 11 is another great pick. So he's on a roll. He's on a roll right now.
I mean, the players he should have taken earlier are now going off the board.
Yeah, so number 11 is Caleb Downs to the Miami Dolphins. He says Downs has the versatility to play multiple spots, much like his teammate in this scenario, Minkah Fitzpatrick. Downs' football intelligence and leadership are off the charts. Miami has to improve a defense that ranked 24th in scoring and 32nd in opposing completion percentage.
Yikes.
That's bad. But I think that, like you said, like these are players that we believe should go earlier. And so the fact that they're going, 4 or 5 picks later kind of adds a lot of value to them. And it's like, wow, what a pick. And it fits the team really well. So I think that these are obviously going to be our picks that we like the most. I mean, I love this. It's a huge need. It's the best player. If you take out positional value, probably the best player in the draft. And you get him at 11 at a need.
Yeah.
That's an amazing pick.
I mean, it just sucks for them. Who's their CB1 right now? I don't know.
Is it Rasul Douglas?
He's not on contract.
Kader Kohu when he plays.
Kader Kohu's a slot, which is one of the reasons why
yeah, but he's their
this
best
pick
corner.
isn't amazing because Caleb Downs is now they just have Minkah, Caleb Downs at safety, and they don't have a corner still.
Yeah, but you have one hell of a safety tandem.
Yeah, I guess. But Kader Kohu just tore his ACL.
I imagine
he's playing the slot, and now I don't know who their outside corners are right now.
I imagine they attack corner in the free agency.
They're the Packers. Packers front office people.
Yeah, that is true. They don't like playing.
I think Keldrick Falk would make a lot of sense here as a trait C pass rusher who has had no potential.
I don't like that pick.
No production.
I don't get why you would take that at 11.
He's Packer.
Oh, well, I still don't like that pick at all. This is a much better pick. You want to get a generational defender.
I'm saying it makes more sense. Like, I think it has a better chance of happening.
But you could still get if he falls here, they 110% should take him. It's a generational defending prospect at his position. Obviously not the most valuable and probably not their biggest need, but it's still a need. And you've just got a defensive guy to become your head coach. You can get this as his first pick and have him work with him in his first season. I mean, I think it's just a perfect match.
I mean, you don't think Evan Williams is very good, and he just had an all-pro season under Jeff Hafley. So
I don't think Evan Williams is not very good. I just don't think he's as good as you think he is because you think he was an all-pro worthy, and he wasn't.
I don't know. He was playing really good.
Yeah, he was a great safety this season, not an all-pro safety. So there's a big difference there. But he's obviously not as good as Xavier McKinney, who barely made all-pro.
I mean,
so that's
should have had both all-pro safeties. Let's be honest.
Nope. So that's the argument. Moving on to number 12, though, we're going to see another Tennessee corner. I think this is kind of crazy to me that 2 Tennessee corners in the top 12.
Yeah, but it's also Colton Hood was their CB1 this year because of the injury. So
he's only a redshirt sophomore, which is kind of crazy to think about. But Dan Jeremiah says, I expect Dallas to draft an edge rusher in round 1, but he expects that to be at 20.
Okay.
I'd like to see the Cowboys upgrade the secondary as well. Hood would be a plug-and-play starter for them. That's not an argument. They just cut Trayvon Diggs, and I don't know why people ever liked Deron Bland.
Bland's playing slot now.
He's not good at corner, just like I've been saying and got a ton of hate for. Guess what? He's not. And he's being paid almost the same as Pat Surtain. That is ridiculous. Everyone just kind of gets caught up in the fact that he had like 6 pick sixes in one season. That's cool. There is some luck involved in that, and he's obviously a good ball hawk, but he also gets destroyed sometimes. I mean, he just gets torched because he's trying to make an aggressive play, and that's not what you want from the only corner really on your roster. They have Revel, right, as well.
Those are their 2 corners right now.
So that's why they're taking Colton Hood. They need secondary help, and like you said, he was their CB1 this year. And so I think it makes sense. This is another great fit. Dan Jeremiah kind of on a roll, in my opinion.
I don't know. I think this is a bit early for Colton Hood. He was getting cooked in the Senior Bowl, which...
Oh, was he?
If you guys don't know about the Senior Bowl, normally you don't get too many first-round prospects. He got cooked by Tyron Montgomery, the D3 receiver.
Yeah, but everyone did, I thought.
Yeah, I don't know. I just expected Colton Hood to shine at the Senior Bowl. It's hard for corners to shine at the Senior Bowl, but
it's a lot easier to get noticed getting burned than it is to lock somebody down.
Yeah. Tackles, running backs, and corners have it tough at the Senior Bowl.
Yep. So, but I don't think it's a bad pick. I mean, obviously we have to watch Colton Hood a little bit, and
they just got really unlucky here with Sonny Styles going off the board, Delane and McCoy also being off the board.
Yeah.
And Caleb Downs going the pick before. So it's like worst case scenario for the Cowboys.
Yeah. It is. It is honestly pretty bad, and like it probably won't shape up like that, and so the Cowboys could get lucky and someone falls, but I think they do need to attack secondary and edge in this first round, and so I think depending on who's there, if there's a better edge available too, because an edge could always fall, then you take that. So, and I think that I think Jeremiah would have done that if it weren't for how the board shaped up for him. But number 13 is a really interesting pick and one that's being heavily talked about, and that's Makai Lemon to the Rams thanks to Atlanta's first round pick they gave up for James Pierce Jr. The Rams value tough, rugged receivers who are also playmakers. It would almost be unfair to add Lemon to an offense that already includes Puka and Devontae Adams.
Best receiving core of all time?
If Lemon is the guy that they think he is, then it is, and I don't think it's very close.
It's insane.
I mean,
that might be 3 Hall of Famers.
That's a little crazy.
Well, there's 2 locks right now for the Hall of Fame. If
Puka
doesn't get hurt.
Puka's not a lock yet.
If Puka doesn't get hurt.
He's played 3 seasons, bro.
If Puka doesn't get hurt, he's a lock.
No, he's not. Because he'd have to keep playing like this.
And why would he not?
Because he could just randomly take a step back. Maybe Stafford, he's a Stafford merchant. Like, there's
He is not a Stafford
saying a lock is insane. A lock means, like, you're guaranteed, like, there's nothing that could stop it except for injury. And that's just not true.
That's what I think. It's just injury.
I mean, he's obviously on that path to be a Hall of Famer. But there's only one lock, and that's Adams. And I think that...
Actually, I don't even know if he's a lock. Is he? Not first ballot for sure.
But. Yeah, no. But he's going to be one probably. And saying Lemon already is kind of crazy.
No, I wasn't calling you a lock. I was like possibly 3 because 2 of them are, and the third one could be.
But if Makai Lemon is as good as McKay thinks he is, I'll let you talk about him a little bit because I know that you're a huge Makai Lemon guy. But, I mean, this receiving core would not be fair. With Stafford throwing them the ball, too, and a good run game with Corum and Kyren, and Corum took a huge step. So, 2-headed run game. I mean, this offense would score like 50 a game, it feels like.
Yeah, I mean, Makai Lemon gets comped to Amon-Ra St. Brown probably every minute of every day. It's so annoying. I think it's honestly disrespectful to Amon-Ra just because how good would Amon-Ra be if he wasn't such a dog? So strong and everything.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's kind of weird. And Makai Lemon has a lot more juice. He's way better after catch than Amon-Ra. He's one of the most elusive players in the draft, the most productive receiver in college football this past season. I just don't understand how people can have Jordan Tyson above him, who had like 800 yards this year. His traits, I mean, I guess he's 6'2" instead of 6 foot. All the best receivers in the NFL right now are 6 foot, like besides Puka. Because Jamar Chase, Amon-Ra St. Brown, didn't realize they were the same height. It's kind of crazy. And JSN's also 6 feet. Like, height, these X receivers, clearly you don't need one anymore. You don't need to have your Calvin Johnson that everyone's trying to find, your Tetero McMillan. Like,
I mean, you can get them. You're not complaining.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that's not really what the NFL is right now. It's these offensive minds getting these guys who can move really well, getting them into open space. So
route running's the most important trait, I think, and it's being shown, like you're saying. Obviously, if you can get that height with that, then by all means. Like Jeremiah Smith coming out next year, you know he's 6'4", like 215.
He's not 6'4".
I mean, that's what he says he is.
I mean, he's probably, 6'2 and a half, 6'3".
He has no reason to lie about that. He's going to be drafted 1.
6'4".
So, I don't know. I think it's it feels like a Madden offense, dude. It feels like I just did a fantasy draft, and this is like what I drafted. So, that's just unfair, and I kind of hope it happens because I think that'd be crazy and fun to watch. And I think the Rams would definitely be a favorite for the Super Bowl. So, we'll see if it ends up happening. You have to remind me this guy's nickname because I don't want to even try to pronounce.
Well, it's not really it's Vega is what everyone's calling him because I do not want to pronounce that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they need to upgrade at guard, so. I mean,
yeah. Jeremiah says the Ravens need to upgrade at guard and center. Tyler Linderbaum is due to reach free agency in March. Vegna. Wow. I almost said Vecna.
Yeah, I know.
Vega has a strong case to be considered the best offensive lineman in this year's draft. Which
holy glaze.
Is insane to say, but I don't think it's that actually insane to say because obviously not value-wise. That's why tackles go above him. But to take a guard at 14, you got to be pretty damn good at what you do to get drafted 14. So I think it's definitely interesting to see him going here, but they need interior help, and I think this is not a bad. I think it's a great pick for them.
Yeah, Falele was one of the worst linemen in the NFL, so they definitely need to get that replaced.
And one of the most hated linemen in the NFL too.
And Linderbaum, obviously, he's going to be making like top dollar at center. I don't know if they're going to pay him. They should, but I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll see, but I think that yeah, it'd be really interesting if he hits the
Mhm.
market, because I would wonder where, like, how much he'd be paid and where he'd go, because obviously you always overpaying for agency and stuff. But
I
he's
don't
a
know,
center, so
Like maybe 20 maybe.
I don't know. But this is a good pick for them, and like we've
Mhm.
been saying for a while now, Dan Jeremiah kind of on a roll. Kind of like these picks, kind of like what he's doing here. All right, I'll let you take away this next one, because I don't want to pronounce this one wrong either. It doesn't look that hard, but it feels like
Cassius Howell.
yeah, but I feel like I was going to say like Cassius or something. I always get these types of names wrong, but Dan Jeremiah says this is one of his favorite players to study because he plays 100 miles per hour at all times, has a production to back it up with 27 career sacks and 35.5 tackles for loss. I mean, on paper, that sounds amazing, right?
Yeah, but also he's a redshirt senior. So
Right, so he's pretty, well, he's not redshirt, he's just a senior,
Oh.
but he's pretty old, but I think that, I don't know. I think a guy who plays, like, we're kind of talking about this with Ruben Bain. I feel like he plays to the whistle, right?
Mhm.
And playing 100 miles per hour is like kind of just a different way of saying that. Like, he really does just play full out, and I love that about an edge. And if he brings that to the NFL, then he's going to be high on all NFL draft boards, because you'll love a guy that plays with that effort, plays with that that intensity. And I think that if you can get a guy like with production to back it up too, it's not one of these guys that's like, oh, well, he's just got a lot of upside, but he's also got the production in there. It's not Shamar Stewart, who had 2 career sacks or whatever it was. yeah. So,
yeah, I mean, you watch Shamar Stewart and you're like, whoa, that guy across from him is way better.
yeah.
I mean, he was getting like 10 sacks last year, I think.
Yeah.
When whatever his face is, Shamar Stewart got like 2. So
And I mean, Tampa Bay could definitely use some edge rush help. So
yeah, they could. They need someone opposite Diaby, but also, I mean, Cassius Howell also has short arms. Ruben Bain fell to 9, and Cassius Howell was picked at 15. So
yeah,
not nearly the player Bain is.
I just don't get it, because apparently only people care about short arms if it's Ruben Bain. So
I don't know. I think this is way earlier than he's gonna go.
you think so?
Mm-hmm. I think
I think
Falk's
it's a
going.
pretty
I
good-
think Falk's going before.
I think that'd be stupid, but I think that that's a pretty good pick for them if it were to end up happening.
Man, the NFL loves traitsy edge rushers.
Yeah, they do. That's true, especially Packers.
Oh, good thing we probably won't pick one.
Yeah. Well, at number 16, New York Jets, we got Carnell Tate, second receiver of the big 3, I like to say, coming off the board. This will be a value pick from the Jets, is what Dan Jeremiah says, but we see talented receivers go in this area of a draft year after year with JSN, Igbuka, Justin Jefferson. Jefferson and Igbuka were later, so I don't know why he said that. But the Jets pair former Ohio State Garrett Wilson with a fellow Buckeye. I think this is an interesting pick because it's their second pick of the first round, obviously. And who do you have them taking the first? Harvell Reese. So you want to attack offense now. I would actually be okay with them doubling up on
think
defense.
This is great. Oh, never mind.
What?
I thought you were gonna say. I think I was okay with them taking receiver.
No, I am okay with it. That's not what I meant. I meant I actually would prefer them taking 2 defensive players, and I think that the defensive player you took at 2 wasn't worth it at 2. So, I again, like, they do need a second receiver, and it makes sense that like bring in Carnell Tate, right? And you've got a great receiving core all of a sudden. But their defense has so many holes, and I think the defense in this draft specifically is really solid. A lot of good edge rushers, and obviously how the board's shaken up, I can see you taking receiver, especially because I feel like almost all the edges have gone off the board besides Traitsy guy. You know what I'm saying? So, and I wouldn't want them taking Folk, but I think that. I don't know. I just think that they need defense so bad.
Yeah, but at this point, I mean, Carnell Tate's going as early as 5 to the Brown or 6 to the Browns.
So you get him at 16, the value.
Yeah, I think that's really good value. I'm not sure if I'll have him or Tyson higher, but I think both are probably going before this pick, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they got Adonai Mitchell as their number 2. Their number 3 is John Mechie. Not good. And obviously, they're going to try to get a guy to develop in there at quarterback, and you want him to actually have a fair chance. And that's, with Carnell Tate in there, like, besides quarterback, that's a very good offense.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with that, but and like you said, the value, I definitely see that, but positionally, I think they should target defense. But like
the value did not fall on defense. Who's still?
But like you said, like how the board's fallen, like
I don't like this defensive players.
I do agree with how the board, but I just don't think the board's gonna fall this way. So I think there will be some I think there's a better chance they get a good defender than there is they get Carnell Tate.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So 17 though to the Lions, we got another defender. He really likes these edges coming off the board pretty early, unless it's Ruben Bain he wants to fall.
And Falk.
Yeah, well, it's not really falling, is he?
Is.
Akeem Mesidor is here at the Lions. I think this is super interesting because he's very old, and he was not even the best pass rusher on his own team this season, obviously because he played next to Ruben Bain. But it says Mesidor would thrive opposite Aiden Hutchinson, going from one dynamic pass rush duo with Bain at Miami to another. Does make sense. You're going from one short-armed elite pass rusher to another short-arm elite pass rusher. And they would be very good. But you've got, who is it, Muhammad that they like, I think?
He's pretty old.
Is he?
I'm pretty sure.
I didn't think he was that old, but I don't know. I think this is an interesting pick. Is it just me, or does this feel a bit early?
It's way too early. I don't think he's going until the second round. I mean, he's 6 months younger than Aiden Hutchinson, who when they take him 2022, and it's 2026 now?
I'm like, that's crazy.
Like, that's insane.
At least they'd be on the same time frame. So, I don't know. I don't love the pick. I think he's a good player, but I don't think he's not a good enough player where it makes sense taking a 26-year-old or whatever, however old he is.
That's 17. Like, if he was 22, I don't know if I'd be on board with 17.
Well, if he's 22, I think I definitely would be, but I don't know. It does help the Lions a lot, whose defense struggled this season. Having another pass rusher on the other side of Hutch would definitely be a big way to help that. If any corner falls, I think they should just automatically go grab that, because their secondary is terrible, even with two great safeties. Obviously, they had a ton of injuries once again. They need to fire their conditioning guy or something, because golly, these injuries are getting insane. But their corners are just terrible. I mean, so bad. They took Terrion Arnold a couple seasons ago, who was just not panned out.
I mean, he was apparently pretty good the second half of the year, from what I heard.
Well, but
I didn't hear much when I was watching the Lions,
even
so
he
that
was,
means he was better.
Even if he was okay, God, the rest of their corners are bad. DJ Reed was disappointing, and he was hurt some of the season. But they could just use a number one, is what I think. Just a true number one. So if maybe McCoy ends up falling because he didn't play this season,
I doubt it.
To all the way down to 17, and if he fell to 17, I think this would be an insane pick.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah, I think there's actually a chance. The closer we get, I bet he falls a little bit. Is he good to go to the combine and stuff?
I don't know.
If he's not good to go to the combine, I bet he falls a little bit, and then that could happen. So we'll see. That's obviously a conversation for a mock draft in a couple months, but I thought it would be interesting. Emmanuel McNeil-Warren to the Vikings is 18.
Holy reach.
I'm higher on McNeil-Warren than some other people around the league, but I love his combination of size and explosive playmaking ability. He could help replace Harrison Smith if the soon-to-be 37-year-old does indeed retire.
I don't hate the position, but I don't think the value's here.
I don't really get it, because he's admitting that he's higher on him than everyone else, but he's just saying that they're going to take him because he's higher on him. Like, it's, I don't know. I don't know if I'm just stupid or something, but this is a mock draft.
I think he's trying to predict, too. It's not based on his board.
Right, and so it doesn't really make too much sense to me. I don't think they would target him here. I don't know. I haven't watched him yet. Maybe he's really good, and Jeremiah's right. But even if he is really good, I just don't see this happening, because no one thinks he's going this high.
He's supposed to have a bunch of upside. I believe he forced a bunch of fumbles, a bunch of takeaways for Toledo, which it's Toledo also, so it's not like he's playing top-tier competition.
Right.
Very athletic. I think he's 6'2" or something like that. Good size for safety, and the Vikings really need a safety because they let Bynum go last offseason, so now they have Metellus and a 37-year-old, so...
Yeah,
I don't know. I like Metellus more as a weapon rather than like a cemented starter at safety, you know. So I think taking a safety here makes sense, but the value is not here at all.
Yeah, no, I don't hate the position, but like you said, it's just a value for me as well. Great value with this next pick, like insane value, probably the best value of the draft you're gonna find. Jordan Tyson at 19 to the Panthers. He says the Panthers have a stud in Tet, but he likes and he also liked what he saw from Jalen Coker, but choosing Tyson would complete the wide receiver room. I think what he fails to mention is just like Jordan Tyson being here at 19, you don't pass on, right? When your receiving core is not very good, or not that good.
I don't hate it. Coker was really good in the playoffs.
He was amazing in the playoffs.
Game. He had 150 yards.
I'm not the biggest fan of Tet in the world. He was really showered with targets, but I do think he's solid, obviously. He's not a bad receiver by any means. And so I mean, your receiving core is not the worst, but it's not great. There's obviously improvements that can be made, and taking Jordan Tyson at 19 just makes sense. I have yet to watch Jordan Tyson much, but with how people talk about him and where he's supposed to be going, there's just no way he's here at 19.
Yeah, but he is injured every single season. So,
But I mean,
completely unrelated injuries, but
yeah,
I don't know.
I mean that makes sense because
Also, they're just giving
Will
up
Johnson
on Leggett.
fell a lot.
They're just giving up on Leggett.
Yes.
That just never made sense to me. I didn't understand the Leggett hype in the draft.
But I think this is the obvious pick here. I don't think this is a conversation if he's here, but there's just no way he's here, in my opinion. Unless everyone's so scared of his injuries. It's the only way he falls. But this board has been very defensive heavy so far, so it makes sense that he fell to 19. At 20, we're going to go back to the defensive board with Keldrick Folk. We talked about him a little bit. He stops falling. He said he's a tough evaluation because he has great size and he's a smooth athlete, but he just doesn't play with enough urgency, but the upside is tremendous.
Hear this every year.
Every year. I don't know if it's ever worked. Is the one that worked the best Nolan Smith?
No, he was not big.
Well, I mean, just
he was just
athlete that
he was just undersized, so he was juiced up. Best one, Rashawn Gary. Rashawn Gary was that's a word that worked out. 13, you get a very good edge rusher, and then he tears his ACL. Obviously, after he becomes good, and now he's not that athletic.
But we just gotta stop taking them. They take multiple every year.
Van Ness, Stewart. Was there another one last year? I don't think so.
You could argue Walker was one.
No.
Walker's
another guy. Yeah, he's a hybrid, undersized. He's not fast and big.
That's what you're saying. But I don't know.
I think he's being pushed up just because of how untraitsy and how short these guys' arms are. They're like, well, this guy looks the part.
He's got big arms.
He's a tough evaluation. He kind of sucks, but the upside's there.
But just imagine how stupid this must sound to someone who doesn't scout. What do you think about Ruben Bain versus Kittrell Folk? I watched them both in college, and I just thought Bain was way better. Well, yeah, no, I did too, but Folk's arms were a lot longer.
Folk's arms are a lot longer. He's bigger.
So I think I would take
faster.
Him. The guy would be like,
yeah, I mean,
why?
But to be fair, if they both work out if they both worked out the same way, which they wouldn't, Keldrick Folk would be a way better player. But anyway.
Yeah, but do you know how much progression Folk has to take just to catch Bain? Much less catch him while he's progressing.
Yeah, but it's also at 20. Bain's not making it. 20.
Right. Well, I get that.
I think Folk has a decent shot. If Bain falls to 9, there's a decent shot someone takes Folk above him.
But I that's what I'm saying. What are we talking about?
Yeah,
I don't know. I just think on the outside it's got to sound so crazy, and to me it still sounds so crazy. I know I'm not in those GM rooms. I'm not making picks. I'm not getting hands-on scouting or anything. But I can see the results of people that I've been told have short arms versus the people that don't. And guess what? Hutch got passed on at 1 because of that. And you passed on an elite edge to take Trayvon Walker. So that's all the proof I need. It can work out. It doesn't have to just fit one mold. And I think we're seeing that more and more with all positions in the NFL. Like you were talking about earlier with, everyone wants that X receiver, right? And so they take these guys. I remember Quentin Johnston a few years ago, big, fast, athletic guy. So people wanted him. Obviously didn't really work because he never really was that guy. He's just big and athletic. And so people get wrapped up in these ideas. Anthony Richardson is another example of a guy who fits a mold of this would be the perfect player. But he's not the perfect player. He's just extremely athletic. And so I don't think that is a smart take at any position in the league, except maybe kick returner. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I hate the pick.
Yeah, in the first round, you should not be just picking a player because he's an athlete.
I mean, it literally says, doesn't play with urgency. Not only does he not have the results, but he also doesn't try? Hell no. Get that guy away from me.
That's crazy.
Let me know what you think in the comments about that. But I don't know. I just don't get it. I don't get that personally. Moving on, though, to 21. We're finally getting back to some offense. After Jordan Tyson, 2 picks later, he's got Denzel Boston going. What do you think about that?
I mean, is that really what the Steelers need? Another 6'4" receiver?
They do need a receiver, period.
Who isn't the best, who's not really a short to intermediate route runner?
But if he could be a 1, they need a 1.
They do need a 1, which is kind of underrated because I don't think DK is a 1 at all. And DK is like, what, 20?
But
29?
DK would be an elite, too.
Mm-hmm.
And so
I just think, I mean, obviously all the receivers are off the board, but I think Boston is not the type of receiver they need at all.
yeah, I agree with that. But at least the position makes sense. It's better than a lot of the picks that have been in this draft. It's better than the pick right before it, in my opinion. So I don't think this is the worst pick in the world, even if it doesn't make perfect sense. He says the Steelers must find someone to complement DK Metcalf, and he says Boston is another big physical receiver to play opposite two-time Pro Bowler.
I don't really feel like that's a good compliment.
I also don't think that that's a very good analysis. It's like a sentence long about.
So chill.
Well, I know. I'm sorry. I'm hating too much, but just like it's like a sentence long about talking about how he's the same player, but they could complement each other. It doesn't make any sense because the same players aren't complements to each other. They're the same. So.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like who's like Omar Cooper? Too early for him, like value wise.
Yeah. So
there's not really a receiver that makes sense with that play style.
But at 22, there is a little editor's update that I'll read real fast on this one. He did take Lee Hunter, the defensive tackle, to the Chargers. Hunter's one of my early draft crushes. He has outstanding size, quickness, and the ability to disrupt. And when he talked about how Teair Tart is going to become a free agent, so he would provide some insurance. The editor's update obviously being that after this was posted, Teair Tart did get re-signed for $37.5 million. I think that this still isn't a bad pick, in my opinion. This defense is very good, but you can add to it, especially if it's a guy you really like. I'm not exactly sure if this is the exact range he's supposed to go. Is Lee Hunter supposed to go here?
No, I've seen him like a lot. He's a common mock draft pick for the Packers at 51, I believe.
Oh.
So, yeah, I mean, he did say it's one of my early draft crushes.
Yeah,
so
but
it's a guy he
again,
loves.
isn't this supposed to be a predictive thing? You know what I'm saying?
Maybe he's predicting him to fly at boards before the draft.
Which it's months before.
Yeah.
I mean, and if he does have outstanding size and quickness and agility, he's gonna fly up at the combine. That's what always happens. So if that's the case, and I actually think that that's a great prediction, and that's because we're what 2.5 months away still. So that is a long time. The board is going to be completely different. Like we should go back and watch this in 2.5 months and just be like, what was the mock draft like? Because it's probably insanely different. And so I don't think that's the worst take in the world. And even though Teair Tart's coming back, I don't think this is a bad pick for them if he really is.
Yeah, but with Peter
like
Woods still on the board, I
no,
don't know.
let's save him for a different team.
I don't know.
So I don't know. I don't think this is the worst pick in the draft so far, especially when you get towards the end of the first round. It's a lot more acceptable to take a risk on a guy than passing on Ruben Bain. And so anyway, we'll move on to 23. Where this is a really weird pick in my opinion because they go corner. The Eagles go corner.
They do need a number 2.
They take Avian Terrell. Terrell teams up with Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell to give the Eagles the best young secondary in the NFL. Is what he says.
Wait, who's safety?
Am
I tripping?
Blankenship.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Best young.
He said secondary? Yeah, I think he meant corner room.
I hope he did.
The former Clemson Tiger can play inside or outside.
The problem is he might have to play inside because of size limitations.
Oh, but he won't. If he goes to the Eagles, there's no chance he plays inside because Cooper
that's what I've seen a lot of people say. If he goes there, then he's going to play the slot, and they put Cooper DeJean on the outside. So
that wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah, exactly. So I just don't think he's the best fit for the Eagles.
That's what I was saying. I don't even get taking a corner really here, in my opinion. I get that they need a number 2.
I think they should just sign a veteran.
Right. They should sign
actually a good one, not James Bradbury. Again.
Right. Well, they should either sign a vet or they should take a different position because they should take one in a different round because I think that while they do need a second corner, you don't really value second corner in the first round if that makes too much sense. I do get that this is a developmental guy, so it kind of does make some sense to go to a team like the Eagles, but these two guys were and they shouldn't have been, but these two guys are both all pros. Like you've got 2 all pros at the cornerback position. You don't need to go and take one at 23. Who is that developmental piece? You can go somewhere else. I don't really know what I would want for them, actually, but their offseason is going to be so interesting, and I think their draft plan really heavily revolves around what they do with free agency. Maybe they trade A.J. Brown. I've seen a lot of talk about that. So anything like that, it really is dependent on what we see out of this offseason for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Moving to 24, I know you're going to love this pick. The Browns are back on the clock, and they decide to go with Caden Proctor using the Jags pick. All he says is Proctor is an enormous human. If the Browns can keep DeJuan Jones healthy, they would have a massive duo at tackle.
DeJuan Jones sucks.
No, but all that matters is that they're massive.
He was good in his rookie year, and then people realized, this guy's big, fat, and slow. I can just run around him. And then the Browns said, we are never playing you again. And then he kept getting hurt.
But you're forgetting that they could have a massive duo. Like, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be a hater. I know I've hated plenty. Who cares? Who cares if they have a massive duo at tackle?
Also, if you're not going to have a good duo at tackle, if that's your tackle duo, Shedeur is going to die, and then Gabriel's going to come in, he's going to die, and then, yeah, I don't know.
I don't.
That is not what you want.
I mean, Caden Proctor obviously has a lot of
he's a project.
Tools, but he's a project, and it doesn't make sense to go to a team like the Browns for a project, especially because the Browns are a team that you were going to be plugging in 3 starters this season.
Or more.
So,
I think they have all 5 starters are free agents.
And I would love to see Caden Proctor go to a team where he can sit for a year. Or
yeah, something like that. Or maybe he plays guard his first year.
Or maybe even if he plays tackle, he's the 5th guy on that line. If he plays on the Browns, he will be the 2nd guy possibly on that offensive line. He's expected to be right away. You will lose every game if Caden Proctor is expected to be second tackle the first game he steps in the NFL, or second offensive lineman, second he steps in the NFL.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't love the pick. Moving on to number 25. You're gonna again have to help me with the pronunciation because I don't.
Dylan Thieneman.
I would have said like Tieneman because of like.
TH makes a T sound?
Yeah. Well, it does. What's that one player in the NBA? It's like Tienen or something. Or no, maybe that's a tennis player. I don't know. Someone help me out in the comments. But I think that I would have said it wrong, so I was scared because everyone always pronounces things differently. The Bears figure to be in the safety market with the contracts expiring for Kevin Byard, Jaquan Brisker, and C.J. Gardner-Johnson.
Oh, that sucks.
He can play both safety spots and could cover in the slot if needed. Kyler Gordon, he plays in the slot?
He did last year. I don't know. This season, I feel like when we were playing them, he wasn't in the slot.
Really? I feel like he was. Well, if he plays in the slot, but they should take this guy.
Well, I don't know if they're bringing back. I think
they're definitely bringing back Byard.
Yeah, I don't know if they're bringing back Brisker, and they should not bring back C.J. Gardner-Johnson.
I think
he's more of a good luck charm. Like everywhere he goes, they win, and it's not because of him.
I think they're going to bring back Byard and Brisker and not Gardner.
Yeah, well, if they have a hole at safety, I think Emmanuel McNeil-Warren will probably be here, and I think he's a better prospect than Thieneman. But obviously, in this mock draft, he's not.
Because every 2 picks is... Sorry, what am I saying? It's like 2 picks is defense, then 1 is offense. 2 picks defense, 1 like it's a 2-to-1 ratio right now. So all the defensive players are off the board. Is what it feels like to me.
Yeah, but there's gonna be like 2 quarterbacks max drafted in the first round, 1 running back max, 1 tight end max. So it's just linemen, and then probably 4 receivers max. I think by the end of the draft, though, there'll be a 5th receiver who sneaks in. But
yeah, I think it's a weird pick though. Overall, I mean, it kind of makes sense, but.
Yeah,
he's probably not going this high.
They also could take a linebacker here. Tremaine Edmonds is supposed to be cut, so.
I mean, speaking of linebackers, the pick at 26 to the Bills is a pick that could make sense for the Bears, and that's C.J. Allen from Georgia. Linebacker could be a need for Buffalo with Matt Milano and Shaq Thompson ticketed for free agency. Allen can run and hit, but he also has the intangibles you want at the position. The Bills need to improve a defense that ranked 28th against the run.
It's bad.
This was definitely their weakness this season was against the run. And you can get C.J. Allen. I think it's a good fit for them. I think this is a pretty solid pick at the back end of the first round. Yeah, I mean, it just makes sense to me, especially if these 2 guys do go to free agency. Be interesting if Matt Milano hit free agency. I don't know how many people would want a guy that's been hurt so much. But
yeah.
Maybe you could pair him up with Dre Greenlaw and have the most injury-prone linebacker duo of all time.
Wow.
But I don't know. I think this is just a really good pick for them.
Yeah, I just think with this linebacker class, what I've seen is there's a lot of pretty good prospects that are like early second-round picks that are so close to C.J. Allen. I don't know if I'd take him here. There's just a lot of good linebackers, and then obviously the great one in Styles. So I think this is a bit of a weird pick here, but obviously Shaq Thompson was playing a lot in the playoffs. You do not want that, and now he's gone. So
you need
Dorian
someone.
Williams is pretty underrated. I don't know if he was hurt or something. He had to have been hurt if Shaq Thompson was on the field. But I don't know. I liked what I've seen from Dorian Williams. So that'd be a pretty solid linebacker duo.
Well, coming up on the end of this mock draft, we got the Niners, and this is a weird pick to me. It makes some sense.
Yeah.
But it's Kenyon Sadiq to the 49ers. Sadiq could go much higher than 27th overall. He's undersized, but he has outstanding speed and is a competitive blocker. He'd be the ultimate chess piece for Shanahan, giving the coach a hybrid of George Kittle, Kyle Juszczyk, and Kenyon Sadiq. However, to me, I don't know what the odds are they all three play at the same time, because it feels like Kittle never plays nowadays. It feels like the Niners never have all their pieces. But I don't know. Like, I get it. You could develop him under Kittle while still playing him, and Shanahan loves having pieces like that. But it still just feels like a little bit weird of a pick.
Kittle just tore his Achilles.
Oh, so he's out for a while?
Yeah, he's not playing.
I didn't know that's what the injury was.
Yeah,
but
kind of under talked about for being best tight end maybe in the NFL. Tore his Achilles, and no one's really talking about
it. I did not know that. But I don't know. I still don't think the pick's like that crazy.
I mean, he seems to think it's a lot of people really like Sadiq. I think from what I've seen, he should be going earlier, which is kind of crazy, especially as an undersized guy who's a competitive blocker.
That means you're not a good blocker.
That means you're not good, but you try. So,
yeah.
I mean, that's like not
Said the same
that
thing.
bad, but
dude,
I mean,
that's literally what it is, though.
He was productive for a college tight end, but like for a first-round pick, offensive weapon, very unproductive.
Yeah, just not what you want to see
from a first-round pick. I mean, 27, it's not too bad.
It could be worse.
Yeah, for sure.
At 28, the Texans, they take Monroe Freeling. I don't know if it matters who's available here. I think they're just taking a tackle. But the Texans did a nice job maneuvering to land. I'm not trying. In last year's draft, now they get another young tackle to pair with him. Freeling is just scratching the surface of his potential.
Ariante Ursary?
You think I can say that, bro?
I mean, it's not that hard.
Ariante.
Ariante.
Ariante Ursary.
Bro, that is so easy.
Dude, I'm not good at pronouncing stuff. It's one of my weaknesses.
Anyway, yeah, I mean, Freeling rose a lot lately. He was like a third-round guy. Now he's consistently back into the round one. And seems like he's a lot of upside while having a pretty good season for Georgia. Mm-hmm. So I haven't looked in too much to him, but from what it sounds like, I think this is a good prospect to take at the end of the first round. So this is one of my more favorite picks in this draft.
Yeah, but also, like I said, I don't care who it is. Just take a freaking tackle that you like, man. Mm-hmm. Whoever the best one you think is, I don't care who you think it is. Just take him. You need line. Your line sucks really bad. I think going back to the Chargers a little bit, something we didn't really touch on but could be, instead of the DT, now the Tier Tart, and I wonder if he would have changed it now knowing that that re-signing was there. They could also really use some help on the offensive line.
Yeah, but their tackles are really good. So you'd have to take a guy with tackle and guard, like a guard with tackle flexibility.
Could you imagine if Vega fell?
Oh, yeah, that's like the most common mock draft spot for Vega.
If he fell, that's a dream pick for them. Their line would be completely transformed in a matter of seconds. And with Mike McDaniel, I mean, I'd be so scared that they're going to take us out for the division and compete for a Super Bowl, honestly. But anyway, that's a completely different conversation.
A little bit of glaze, but
just made me think of that. Rams back on the clock. It's very rare you see, a top 3 team in the NFL have 2 picks in the first round, but here we are. He's flying a bit under the radar right now. Oh, sorry, they take Blake Miller. He says he's flying a bit under the radar right now, but you'll hear a lot more about Miller as we go through the draft process. He says that the former high school wrestler, I don't know why we had to add that.
Most linemen are. So
made 54 starts at Clemson. He's a tough, competitive right tackle. Interesting that he's calling out. This is kind of what you were saying, what he was doing earlier. He's literally just predicting, hey, I know that this guy is not mocked here right now, but he's going to be. And he's very confident in that.
I mean,
he didn't even say, I think. He just said, you'll hear more about him.
Well, you probably will, assuming you go deeper into the draft. But worst pick of the draft? Rams do not need a tackle.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't love the fit.
They have Alaric Jackson at left. He's on a cheap deal. Warren McClendon is also on a dirt cheap deal. Actually, I think Alaric Jackson got paid. So anyway, he's left tackle. Warren McClendon, former 5th-round pick. He's playing really well for them. I mean, you watch the Rams. Offensive line is not an issue, and he's 23, 24 years old.
The fit doesn't make sense.
Everyone just thinks they need tackle for some reason.
Even if you think he's a riser, like why don't you give him to the Patriots in a couple picks, which we'll talk about in a sec.
Or the Browns.
Or, anyone that makes more sense. So
I think Freeling should have went to the Browns, and then Miller could have went to the Texans or something.
But yeah, I think it could have he could have just done that a lot better, I think.
Yeah, it's just like what I think they should just take whoever the next corner is, like Brandon Cisse or something.
Yeah, but we'll see what they end up doing. Definitely should take a corner, in my opinion.
Their corners are bad.
I think
for how good that team is.
At 13, I know they took Lemon, and that's just unfair. I do think if not Terrell, I don't know why I keep doing that. McCoy is there, then they should take him as well because corner's a big need. I think that's probably not talked about with the Rams enough. Their corners were really bad.
I mean, Emmanuel Forbes.
He impressed me that season, but
really good.
In the playoffs, their corners were just exposed. They were getting cooked.
The problem.
He wasn't the problem.
It was like Darius Williams and Kobe Durant.
Kobe Durant might be the worst corner in the league.
I mean, he had 2 picks.
Yay. Anyway, moving on to the last 3 picks of the draft. This is a super interesting conversation, not only because I'm a Broncos fan, but just because I think this is a weird spot for us to be picking. And that's at 30, and we're going to take Peter Woods somehow. Don't know how he's here. Especially with how much defense was taken in this draft. The fact that he's here is ridiculous to me. But Peter Woods is good. He says folks around the league are split on Woods' evaluation. Some don't view him as a first-round pick, but he has quickness to add to the league's best pass rush group as an inside rusher. I don't know what I think about this because if he's here to replace JFM, then that makes sense.
If you re-sign JFM, you're not picking a DT in round 1.
Right. But also, like, if he's not a nose guy, though, right? Because he's not playing nose. It just doesn't really make sense for us to take a nose. But he would fit in really well if he was to replace JFM. And with, how the board is and everything. I actually, what I would expect is we actually trade out of the first round and we go for either a linebacker or a receiver in early round 2. That's what I would guess we would look to do. But also, if Peter Woods is here and we like him, I would see us not passing on him because it just... assuming we don't re-sign JFM, which I don't know how likely that it is right now. I know he wants to stay, but there's also been some stuff earlier in the year saying we weren't going to re-sign him no matter what at the end of the year. So we'll see. But I think it's impossible to predict us before re-sign and free agency. Some teams you can just tell what they want to target in the draft, but there's a couple teams, and I think we're one of them, that we just kind of need to see their offseason plan, like the Eagles, for example. So we'll see. But I don't think this would be a bad pick by any means for us.
Yeah, I mean, I think a pick we might end up seeing Anthony Hill here, the linebacker out of Texas.
I would love a linebacker.
Shoot, I'm forgetting his name right now, but the South Carolina receiver, or is it?
The cool name, right? That's what you're talking about.
Yeah, Casey Concepcion.
I love.
I could see both of them being a pick here, but
we need a receiver guy.
Yeah. Well, also, Peter Woods, he's falling in the draft because everyone at Clemson seemed to have a down year. But he's super athletic, and he was actually productive last season. So you're not getting a guy who's he's super athletic, but we haven't seen it yet. We saw it last year, just not this year. So, and his teammate, I forgot him. So embarrassing, forgetting his name. Clemson edge. He had a really good Senior Bowl after not being productive this year and being productive last year.
So maybe it's coaching.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. So I don't think Peter Woods ends up falling this far. Also, did they take the Clemson edge? No. I think he's going to end up being a first-round pick as well.
It does feel like the back end has some... It feels like he added a couple weird picks.
Yeah, but also you don't want to just see the same copy and paste.
Right, no, and I get that. But this second to last pick here for the Patriots, I think, is obviously a great pick if he were here. It's Caleb Lomu to the Patriots out of Utah. He said, with Morgan Moses set to turn 35 in March, the Patriots land another young tackle to help protect Drake May. On the contrary, I think that if they were to draft Lomu, there'd be a big discussion about moving Campbell into guard already.
Oh, yeah.
And putting him at that tackle position.
At least for now. Well, if Moses stays.
Right, until you get a replacement or Moses leaves or whatever it is. And so, but I think they're also one of those teams I'm just please take a tackle. It makes sense. Please take a tackle. They could take receiver as well, I think. They have a bunch of okay receivers, but no one
I think Booty is their plan at 2 or 3.
Yeah, I agree, but they need a 1.
Yeah, they do need a 1.
So,
but
I don't think that receiver would be a bad pick, but with how this board's shaking up in Lomu here, definitely think that that's a great pick for the Patriots.
Yeah.
And last pick of the draft, projected-wise, because these are the only two teams that have not been decided, but I can pretty much guarantee you that this is how it will look. The Seahawks go corner and take Brandon Sissy. No, I'm just kidding. I know it's not Sissy, but I think that this is a weird pick.
Yeah, but their corners is not. There's like
I've seen stuff about how Woolen's apparently been very good this year.
Woolen was not good against the Rams. Woolen was garbage.
He also played the best receiving
he
core in the
sold the game, and the Rams couldn't capitalize. He sold the game.
He won.
4th and 15. He takes off his whatever that is over and starts chirping at the Rams.
I've never seen someone get a taunting penalty for chirping, though.
I don't know. It's still not a smart thing to do. And the next play gets absolutely rattled up by Puka for like 50 yards.
Yeah, but everyone gets rattled up by Puka for 50 yards.
Well, I'm just saying, like overall in the playoffs, he was not that good. He hasn't been good most of his career.
But they have Devon Witherspoon, a top 5 corner in the NFL, according to Seahawks fans.
Well, anyway, I just don't know if he's going to re-sign with them. They do have a lot of cap space. But also, even if they re-sign him, their other outside corner, I think, is Josh Jobe. So as a Super Bowl team, Josh Jobs is a bad corner to be starting on a Super Bowl team, right? So taking a corner here does make sense, in my opinion. But also, if an edge falls here, like the Clemson edge, maybe take him because I think Maffe's a free agent. And then you got Derek Hall and whatever his face is. Cowboys' old edge, DeMarcus Lawrence.
Yeah.
He's getting up there in age as well. So I think edge also makes sense here.
Yeah, but ultimately they play a great branded team football, so it's kind of hard to figure out a specific position to improve upon when the whole team plays at such a similar level, and that's why they're so good at what they do, which is really fun and why I think people want the Seahawks to win the Super Bowl this year. So that's it for us on Daniel Jeremiah's 1.0 mock draft. We will be back in the next video. Make sure you go check that out. If you're watching this a couple days after we released it, it'll probably already be out. We're going to do our own mock draft, a first one of this offseason or upcoming offseason. So we're excited for that. Make sure you stay tuned for that. Subscribe if you came to the end of the video, like the video, and hype the video because we just got hype. So that really help us out if you could do that down below. Have a good one, everybody.